Last season, Walton and Hersham won a league title, earned a promotion, and lost just under £74,000 doing it. That was episode 1 of Welcome to Walton. This is what happened next. It's the summer. The club has just gone up to the 6th tier for the first time this century. New signings, new staff, and a squad being rebuilt for a new level of football, and a fan base that genuinely believes in the club. By every measure that shows up on a highlight reel, Walton have never been in better shape. But then the club sent me the books for the summer, and the first number I saw was a profit. £22,000 in the black, and the season hasn't even started, which for a club I spent an entire episode telling you was bleeding money, that's a bit of a plot twist. Except the longer I sat with that number, the less it meant, because of exactly where it came from. So that's what we're looking at today, and I want to be careful about how I phrase this next part, because I'm not talking about the team on the pitch, but I'm talking about the club as a business, the financial engine that must keep running to pay for everything you see. So the question is Walton and Hersham dying? Let's open the books. You are now watching Welcome to Walton. What's up, everyone? My name is Hayes Knupp, JerseyBird founder and your host of Welcome to Walton, the show that follows the hottest club in London, your very own Walton and Hersham FC, through a financial lens and inside look at running a football club, one of the most unforgiving business models on the entire planet. If you're new here, we don't just cover what happens on the pitch, we cover what it actually costs with the club's financials every single month. And as always, if you want to support Walton and Hersham on their journey to the Premier League, go ahead and follow their socials, go grab their kit, which will be available very, very soon in their online store and on match days. And if your club is in need of new kits and apparel, you know who to call. Start a project at JerseyBird.com. We will pair you with a JerseyBird designer who will create some awesome kits just like the ones you see in our videos. And if you tell us you came from this Welcome to Walton show, you'll get 10% off your order and a free Walton and Hersham home jersey shipped directly to your doorstep. As always, thank you for supporting our clubs. Thank you for supporting JerseyBird. I will link all of this in the description below. Now, back to the video. Quick recap in case you missed episode 1. Last season, Walton won the Southern League Premier South, their first league title since 1969, and earned a promotion to the National League South. And the price of that title was a net loss of £73,597 on the season. And now they go up a division where everything costs more. And here's the thing that no one tells you about promotion. The hardest stretch isn't in the middle of the season when the crowds are big and the sponsors have paid. It's right now. The books we're looking at today cover the 1st of June to the 20th of July. That's about 7 weeks of summer, and in that time, Walton played through the preseason with no home matches. We'll cover why in a bit. They sold no tickets, and they spent over £95,000. So let's walk through exactly where it went. We'll start with wages because this is where most of it goes. For the first time in the club's history, the playing budget kicks in from the 1st of July, so contracts for a 6th tier squad are now running through the middle of summer. And when you add up the true cost of paying everybody, it comes to around £66,000. That's the staff wages plus a chunk that appears on the books as contractors and consultants, which sounds a bit like outside firms, but really it's just staff who invoice the club instead of sitting on the actual payroll, plus the tax and the pension owed on all of it. Out of the roughly $95,000 spent in total throughout the summer, nearly 70% of everything the club spent was simply the cost of employing people. And that HMRC line, £17,500, is mostly pay, which is the tax and national insurance that comes out of paying people, plus VAT. So even the tax bill is, for the most part, just another consequence of having a squad and a staff to pay. So the money is pouring out the door, and the problem is that in the summer, there's almost nothing coming in. And to understand why, you have to look at where Walton are playing their football right now. Walton's home pitch is being completely redone this summer, and that is a good thing. We'll come back to who actually paid for it because that part matters. But while the work is happening, the club cannot play at home. Not one preseason game. Every single game has to be away. And when you're on the road as the away team, you get none of the revenue. No gate, no food, no match day income at all. You just pay to get there. So preseason, the one part of the year where the club can quietly bank a bit of gate money from their friendlies at home, Walton can't do any of that. they're paying to travel to games that they earn nothing from. And they're not cutting corners anywhere else either. If you remember the numbers from last season, Walton won the league on close to half of the budget that some of the clubs had that they beat. But you don't survive a jump to the 6th tier by just standing still. So on top of wages, there's football operation costs, facility work, additional gear like GPS tracking vests for the players, marketing, kit and apparel, new food trailer for away supporters, and around £4,000 in compensation fees just to sign players from other clubs. Every pound that wasn't spent on player and staff wages came out to about $29,000. Smart and necessary spending. But it's spending all the same, and this entire summer has been spend, with barely a pound coming back the other way. So what did come in? Everything the club genuinely earned across those 7 weeks, the commercial deals, supporter donations, the card takings, retail sales, plus the sponsorship money from our own JerseyBird partnership adds up to around £48,000 against $95,000 going out. And tucked inside that number is my favorite one of the entire episode, £5,250 of prize money. That's what Walton were paid for winning the league. An entire title winning season, all the work that goes into that, and the reward doesn't even cover a week's worth of wages. And that brings us back to the profit I mentioned earlier, because on paper, across this whole period, Walton and Hersham made about £22,000. So doesn't sound like a struggling football club, right? Except look at where the rest of that income came from. Nearly £70,000 of it is on one line. Owner funding. That is the owners putting in their own money into the football club to keep it running. It isn't ticket money, it isn't sponsorship, it isn't the club earning a single penny. It's the people who run Walton Hersham reaching into their own pockets to cover the gap. Take that contribution away and the profit doesn't just shrink, it disappears completely. Without the owners putting in that money, Walton were around £47,000 in the red across 7 weeks of summer before a league match even started. So the profit on the books is pretty much a mirage. It's owner money filling in the gap. And that's the whole problem in this one number, because a football club like Walton and Hersham shouldn't need its owners to personally bankroll it just to survive a quiet summer. That just simply isn't sustainable. So the real question isn't whether Walton spent too much, it's why does a club that just won a league title have to lean on its owners' pockets to survive? And the answer is sitting about 30 feet away from the pitch. And this is what makes the summer sting even more. While Walton were paying wages and other expenses with nothing coming in, the World Cup was on. And all across the country, non-league clubs did what they always do during a World Cup summer. They opened their doors, put the games on the big screen, and packed their bars out for every England match, all the way to the semifinals. For a lot of clubs at this level, a good World Cup tournament can generate enough bar money to carry them through the entire summer. But Walton got none of it. Because in non-league football, there's one revenue stream that matters almost more than any other. It isn't the tickets, it isn't the shirts, it's the bar. Food and drink is the single biggest earner for pretty much every single club at this level, and Walton and Hersham don't receive any money from the alcohol sold at their own matches. Those sales run separately from the football club under arrangements involving Elmbridge Borough Council and Places Leisure, who operate the sports hub that Walton plays at. And this is not a new issue. The club has been raising it for years because they could see exactly where this situation was headed. Every promotion brings bigger crowds, and bigger crowds is supposed to be the entire point. That is the dream, to have a sold out stadium. But here's the problem Walton have run into, and it's the thing that we keep coming back to every episode. Their match day finances don't scale. Think about what happens when more people come through the gate. You need more stewards, more security, more staff. Those costs go up in direct proportion to how many people turn up at the game. And yes, more supporters means more ticket money, but it also means a bigger bill for looking after everybody. Meanwhile, the drinks that all those extra people are buying, that revenue doesn't move for the football club at all. It stays at zero. So the club attracts the crowd, the club carries the rising cost of hosting and controlling the crowd, and the club receives none of that extra bar income that the crowd creates. They don't receive any of it at all. which means growing your fan base, the one thing that every club at this level is desperately trying to do, is partly canceled out by costs that keep climbing with no matching bar revenue rising behind them. And just to be clear, the club obviously saw this coming, and they've tried repeatedly to sort it out, including proposing that they simply take a share of the drink income on their own match days, but so far, no workable solution has been agreed upon, and the club is still sitting at zero for their alcohol sales at home. Right now, the details of all of this, who holds which commercial rights and how it's exactly structured, are being negotiated as part of an updated agreement for the use of the site. And Walton's position is simple. A sustainable arrangement should let the club benefit fairly from the growth they create. If match day costs rise with attendance, then match day revenue should be able to rise with it as well. But credit where it's due, because this isn't just a story about the club's problems. That new pitch I mentioned, the one being redone right now, the council funded that entire renovation. Around £300,000 of investment into a facility that the entire community benefits from. So the support is real and the frustration is real at the same time. And to be fair to everyone in the situation, the club, of course, remains willing to work constructively with both Elmbridge Borough Council and Places Leisure to find a solution. And of course, I will be covering every update on this situation month by month in these episodes. So, is Walton and Hersham dying? No. They're definitely not, and I want to be very clear about that. On the pitch, Walton Hersham are the strongest they've been in a very, very long time. The fans, the squad, the staff, all the momentum, all of it is real, and none of it is going anywhere. What's struggling is the business model. A club at this level is carrying a full 6th tier wage bill, paying more in stewarding and security every time the crowd grows, and they're getting nothing back from the biggest revenue stream in non-league football. That's not a club dying, that's a club running with one hand tied behind its back. The reason the club hands us their books every single month in the first place is that the fix here isn't more owner money. A football club like this should be able to stand on its own 2 feet. A fair share of the income that Walton's own fixtures generate would make a real difference to whether this club can operate sustainably, and it would cut straight into that £70,000 that the owners have had to put in just to get through a quiet summer. The good news is the football is nearly back. Preseason wraps up on August 1st. The season kicks off on August 8th, and because of the pitch renovations, Walton's first home game comes a bit later than everyone else's, but it will be on August 15th. A month from now, we'll be straight back into the numbers as the real season starts, and there are some huge fixtures early on, so stay tuned for that. And we'll also, of course, have an episode coming very soon covering the brand new home and away kits. In my opinion, they're some of JerseyBird's best work yet. I'm excited to be covering all of that, and keep an eye out for when these drop on Walton's online store, and eventually they will also be available on JerseyBird's online store. So stay tuned. As always, if you like the show, drop a like, drop a sub, comment where you're watching from. Thank you all for watching the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.